Well, now we're going to look at the throttle cables, and it's taken quite a while really for me to get to where we are now, because the one thing that's caused me some concerns really is, once again, like when I was talking about the clutch cables, once again the differences in the quality and the actual length and mechanisms of the different different throttle cables is just amazing. It's been quite an eye-opener really getting this far, but we're almost there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the differences in the throttle cables and explain to you what's what. Then I'm going to put the throttle cable onto the twist grip, and then we're going to move on to the other side of the bike, and then we'll put the twist grip on, and then we'll put the throttle cable through and into the carburetor, so at least we'll get there. So I'm just going to stop the camera for a moment and just show you how I'm going to do the next bit by hand, so it'll be a bit wobbly. Won't be a second. So here we are then at the start of all the different cables, and I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Look at that one there, the round top part that fits inside the throttle is much bigger, and what I'm talking about is it goes in there, right? And I'll show you how it goes when we start to do it. But the differences already, as you can see, are quite big. So all the ends are all on one side. Now bearing in mind that all these cables, these throttle cables, were all advertised as BSA Bantam D1 D3s. So they're all as per advertised. Nothing's been done in them at all. And we get to here. Look at that. So the top cable, look how much shorter it is. There. And then you move a bit further along, and the next three, look at this. Look at the length of that inner. And then these two seem to be about right. But just look at that. There, compared to where it should be. And then look at that. That's amazingly different. And even if you bring that cable there, look at the difference. Yeah, it's just, it just beggars belief really, in terms of how you could just get them to all be the same size. Once again, we're at that stage where people just make them up really as they go along, and no wonder us Bantam people are having problems getting it. So I'm going to stop the camera, and then I'm going to put the cable, and to be honest I'm going to use this one here to fit onto the throttle cable and then move it along. So I'm going to stop the camera and move on to the next bit. So I'm going to use this cable, as I said, and I'll just move them out of the way. I'll just pull the old nails out so I don't catch myself on them, because you can hardly see them. I just braid them into the desk, into the bench really, so you could just see what's what. Right. So, how does it work? Well, it fits in the round barrel end, fits inside the twist grip, and the cable goes round. And the first thing you can see, I don't know if the camera can pick up on it on close view. The first thing you can see is that the cable doesn't sit all the way home. Now I bought this specifically for the bike, 25 quid the throttle cable cost. Oh, no, it's not going all the way home. So what I need to do is I need to open up that gap just at the end to accept the cable properly. And to do that, I'm just going to get a needle file and I'm just going to see if I can just touch it. So I'll stop for a moment. So I can't find my needle files. I've had a rummage around, I can't find them. So I'm going to have to see if I can use a bit of emery paper. But needed a cup of tea before we did it. And let's see if we can sort it with some emery paper. I'm just looking to make sure that the cable sits well under there, so that when it's in the twist grip there's not going to be any friction. And I think I could just do with a little bit more, not a lot, just a little bit more. Slip of tea. What do you think? Think that's better? It's well down there now, isn't it? Off over the top. Yeah. We're just trying to get it to fit in that gap where the cable goes. There. Just a little bit better. See? So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alright, so the next bit is to assemble it all together. I just want to show you this really, if it'll zoom in on it. I was just about to clean the twist grip up, but can you see? I don't know if you can hear it, there's a central heating boiler behind, but there's a lip there where the point is. There. That's stopping the cable from going down. Just another rubbish casting really. So I'll have to see if I can get that lip off, because that's also will be stopping the cable from fitting in nicely. So I don't know if it's supposed to be there, but it just looks like another mistake from me, so I'll see if I can rub that down on that end. I'm just going to stop the camera and have a see if I can find a magnifying glass. So you probably saw that before when I was doing some wiring up. This is my son's hold it everywhere magnifying thing. So I'm just going to have a closer look and see what it is. I don't know if it's supposed to be there or not. I don't see what use it would do, or whether it's just a bum casting. Why would it catch on there? Don't know. But do you know what? I'm going to run the risk of it being a bum casting. I'll see if I can scratch it out. See if I can get rid of it. If I ruin it, I ruin it. If I don't, I don't. Well, it didn't take much to shift. Just a flick of the old screwdriver. Wow. But look at the difference now. It was obviously holding it up. The cable's fitted in much nicer. I don't know if it'll zoom in a bit. Look at that now. Since I took that little gap away, it's fitted in much nicer. I feel a lot happier with that, to be fair. Right, so I'll just pause the camera. So we've got the cable, the inner, onto there, on the twist grip. And now there's a nice long deep gap there, so it fits in there very nicely. So got the first part of the twist grip, and this part has got a slot in it down here, and in this slot there's a distance piece that's built into it, so that this outside edge here will only go so far in there. So the next part is to slip it in, like so, and then make sure that it's closed up. So that's okay so far. And then the top part goes on top. 2 screws. 2 T's. 1. 2. I'm just putting them in ever so slightly, taking up a few of the threads. So you can see, basically I'm just making sure that the threads are catching. There we go. Come back to that back a bit. Just trim it. Right, next thing then is to transfer all this onto the handlebars, and then we'll fit it onto the throttle side of it. So I'll pause the camera. Alright, so you join us now. I've moved around from the workbench and come to the other side of the bike. You saw me on the workbench assemble this side, the cable up onto the twist grip. Now what I need to do is start to put it into the carburetor. So this is the top of the carburetor, and the cable goes through. Do you remember on one of the other videos where I had to rub this down to try and to get it through there? Now fits properly. So the next thing I've got is the spring. So I've got to get that through and compress the spring. Ouch. And keep that compressed and down. And then this is the throttle slide from the inside of the carb. Ouch. And on it this holds the needle jet up, and there's a little like a indentation like a U there. I don't know if the camera can pick it up properly. I'll bring it in a little bit. And the cable attaches to the throttle slide there, runs down that edge, and then you need to get it so that it runs in line with the throttle. See, I'm talking to you and I haven't done it right. So that's it. So shall we see if it works? Well, seems to be working, doesn't it? So what I need to do now is I'm going to undo this again, because it's not really hard to do, and then I'm going to pass the cable onto fit it onto the handlebars, pass it down onto the bike, and then you can see me do it again. So I just wanted to show you on a close-up what I was talking about. So you need to get the spring. It's fiddly, but when you do it yourself you'll know, and it just slots out, dink, from the twist grip, from the throttle slide, and don't lose the spring, otherwise it's going to be jiggered. Right, so I'm going to pause the camera for a moment. Okay, so I lowered the motorbike on this little machine mart stand that I've got, so that'll make it a little bit easier for me to work. And I need to put the cable where it's not going to cause any problems, or it's not going to catch on anything. So I'm going to feed it through there, and then I'm going to put the twist grip round like so. Get the screwdriver. So I'm just going to, for now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to point that down and see, and I'm just going to nice and steadily just nip up the outside bracket. Well, it's going round all right. Right, so let's have a look down there where the cable is. Yeah, it's going round okay. Okay, so I'm going to bring the bike up again now, so we go back onto the carburetor and we can see what we're doing, so bear with us. All done in real time. Okay, so just like I did before on the practice, first things first, put the top through, the spring as we said before, and compress it down with all your fingers and sort of like nip the inside, the inner. Make sure that everything's got a clear run. Let's have a look. Ready? Yeah, that seems to be working all right. So let's now in the carb, it's the slide has got a really thick groove there. It's got another one, that's where they put the cable in, but it's got a really thick groove there. And the thick groove grips on that little screw. And that's, you tighten that up and it grips it to stop it sliding up and down. So you don't want any friction at all for the time being on there. So just undo it so it just slides just nicely. Then I'll work out that in a moment or two. And then let's see if we can get it to fit in. Oh, am I blocking it with my arm? Hang on, I'm going to move the camera angle. So that's that little screw I was talking about. That grips into that there on the slide. And the slide has got a chamfered edge, and the chamfered edge goes to the front. So let's see if we can get it in. Yep, that's in. And then we'll get the top on. I don't want to block it with my arms. And put that back up there, out of the way. And that's the adjuster screw. So we'll set it at 0 because it's brand new. That would allow for any stretches in the cable. So everything's cranked in because it's all new. Shall we have a go? Oh, apart from that not holding. Can't see out, can we? But you can hear it going up and down. So that's not bad. So I'll just tighten the screws up on the handlebar, which is a bit boring, and then after that, that's it. That's the throttle cable done. And as I say, that's the adjuster. And when you listen to the other side of the carburetors, how I had problems with that. So far, everything seems to be okay. So I'll just tighten up them 2 screws up there. In fact, I'll tell you what, while I'm here, I might just take the, so I can feel it bite. There. Just nicely. Yeah, so it's just nicely. So there, that's the carb now. All done. Right, I'll stop the camera for a moment.